These roads are very bumpy. Third gear 100, fourth gear 110, fifth gear. I think this was there in the models before BS4, and BS4 for some unknown reason they took it off. This is a classic condition I have seen across all Royal Enfield motorcycles till now. Alright, so we got the Himalayan for the second time after 1 week. So they gave me an entirely different motorcycle this time, and they said that this is very well serviced and this won't have any issues at all. Let's start the ride. It's already raining. See, this seating position is what I love in this motorcycle. The seating position is just so comfortable. It's like sitting in a chair. And these seats, right? These seats are like made of, memory foam, and it's so comfortable. So I think we sorted out one issue here. This was because of this cover. So yeah, coming back to the dash. So what we have is the gear indicator here. Really helpful. You have the time. I know it's wrongly set, but yes, you do have the time. And then you have your temperature. I think this is your odo. And then you have trip A. It does have trip B. It also has a side stand indicator. I'm not sure if it has a cutoff, but it has a side stand indicator. And then average A, trip A is 28 kilometers. Trip B, yeah, it has trip B as well. Trip B is average. Oh, that's it, 2 information. Okay. So yeah, so this is all about this display. And this display also has 2 types of readings. One is in miles per hour, and the other one is in kilometers per hour. And then you have your neutral gear indicator here. That's okay, that's nice, because all the time you won't be looking at here. And then you have your ABS light on. I think this will go off the moment I start riding. This was told to be the ABS turn off switch, but I'm not sure if it is working, because in the previous motorcycle which I test drove, that thing was not working at all. Alright, it's set. Let's go. Last time when I took this motorcycle, I did not test this in the wet, but this time the roads are pretty wet. It's already raining, but I hope that the footage is not spoiled. One thing I can tell for sure, that this wind visor really helps a lot. I mean, like when you are above 100 or 120 kilometers, you don't feel any wind blast at all. And I'm like close to 6 feet. I'm like 5'11", and even for me, the wind blast which I face is always on the shoulders. It's not on my head or not on my chest or anywhere like that. So the windscreen works really well, and no doubts about that. And the other thing which I had a problem was these clutch levers. Clutch levers are still hard, and you're going to have an issue if you're going to drive this for a longer duration in the city or wherever you're going to use the clutch a lot. This is going to be a problem, and this is going to be a bigger problem if you are very used to vehicles which has slipper and assist clutch like me. I'm already starting to feel pain in my palm area. Clutch is hard, man. Clutch is hard. All weird sounds coming up. Still I feel that something is loose in the engine area. It's like the I mean, like if you are a KTM boy, relate it with the first launched KTM. I think everybody used to complain that it vibrates a lot, and it always feels like something is going to fall off from that motorcycle. I felt that when I first drove the first version of RC390. that's the state of Royal Enfield till now. KTM has changed all that, Now you don't get that vibes, or now you don't get a feeling that something is going to fall off from your motorcycle. But Royal Enfield is still sticking to that. I think sticking to the history is what Royal Enfield does at best. And yeah, unfortunately you have to live with it if you're a Royal Enfield fan. And one thing which I pretty much noticed in my previous test ride is that this vehicle has enough torque to keep you at speed in the highways. The torque, I really love it, man. I have to say this again and again. The torque of this motorcycle, I really love it. It's good. It's going to really help you in the highways, but it's not going to max out. See, in 4th gear I can easily go to 100, and mainly because I'm not getting a lot of wind blast, right? It kind of makes it really easy for me to, you know, just go in 100 or cruise above 100. And talking about the brakes of this motorcycle, it has a dual ABS setup, and the brakes work pretty decent. I have tested this in the highways, I have tested this in the off-road track, so I had no problem with the brakes and all. So the brakes are all good. But again, if you want to upgrade the brakes, you can always change the pads to something else, like a performance pad or a sintered pad or something like that. Yeah, you always have multiple options there, and you can get it changed. And then coming to the suspension, I will not tell that the suspension is too soft. No. So this is not one among those suspensions where you feel like, you know, super bumpy, and you know, it always kind of, you know, bounces here and there. No, this is not that kind of a suspension. This is slightly stiff if you're driving in the city, or when you're taking high speeds, and when you go to off-road, it's kind of okay. And also, one other thing which I could find in my previous test drive is that during off-roads, for my height, I still need to bend. See, I still need to bend. That's the point. So if you're somebody who's of my height or slightly, you know, above mine, then you might have to get the handlebar raisers. You cannot survive without the handlebar raisers, that's for sure. And one other thing with this motorcycle is that you cannot really grip your leg like within this cutoff. Like you can see, right, my leg is away from that. I mean, like my leg still goes beyond that. Maybe I am a tall person. How tall I am? I'm like 5'11", and so, and my legs are coming outside of this craving. So maybe if you're a short rider, maybe it will come within, but I don't know. I think this motorcycle, it's not meant for tall riders at all. I think it's targeting the, you know, medium and shorter riders, because you can see the seat height is also really low. It's not like those European counterparts. It's not like KTM Adventure. It's definitely for people who are medium and short. It's not for people who are tall or too tall. So if you are a medium, if you are a short to medium rider, I think you can feel native in this motorcycle. And coming to this BS6 model, this BS6 model has a hazard light switch. You can look at here, right? So the moment I put this on, it's going to show me that hazard light indication pattern is on. So this is nice, because, like, you know, every time you get a motorcycle, I mean, like, especially if you're going to take it in the highways, you have to get an aftermarket hazard light to, you know, to satisfy your needs. But we don't have that issue anymore, because Royal Enfield has ultimately provided that. I think this was there in the models before BS4. I think they had that in BS3 or something like that. And BS4, for some unknown reason, they took it off. And in BS6 they again have it. The vibes are all coming in. Some noise. Yeah. It's vibrating in the foot peg area, it's vibrating in the handlebar areas. So yeah, this is a Royal Enfield. I mean, like, whatever used to be there in their classic Bullet or Thunderbird, it's still there in Himalayan. I mean, like, something is vibrating inside. I don't know what is that. Something is really loose. So with this hazard light on, what happens if I just put this left indicator? I think both my indicators are still on. Okay, so in aftermarket hazard lights, mostly if like turn on your normal indicators, then the hazard lights would just go off. But in this, as you have a dedicated switch, it's not going to go off. So you have to turn this off and then use this. So that is what it is. Yeah, these mirrors are again going back to its position. I think these mirrors should go off. I mean, like the moment you get this motorcycle, take these mirrors and throw off. Get a new set of mirrors. The noise is still there. I mean, it's not bad as before, but still you will need an earplug. Oh, the tires are not that grippy in the wet. Yeah, one other reason why it's not that grippy is because these are dual purpose tires, not off-road tires, not road tires, dual purpose tires. So dual purpose tires will be like that. And guys who are trying to tour on this motorcycle, I think your cruising speed is somewhere between 90 to 110. So that's your cruising speed. And if you have a pillion and a lot of luggage in the tail area, then expect just 10-15 kilometers lower than that. So your comfortable, really comfortable cruising speed is between 80 to 110. So that's your cruising speed in this motorcycle, and you can pretty easily cruise in that. I mean, like I'm not stretching the cruising speed. Like you can definitely cruise in that. There's no doubt on that. And talking about the heat of this motorcycle, yeah, you feel the heat at some places when you are in traffic, or when you have really revved the engine. At that time you will feel some heat coming to your legs, but it's not like it's going to burn your legs or it's going to burn your boots or something like that. Definitely not that kind of heating issue, but definitely, yeah, the heat, you can feel it. And I don't think these headlights are really that powerful, because sometimes even when I go somewhat close to a car or any other vehicle where I could see the reflection is not really that much. See, not really that much. So you might have to change the headlight setup as well to something powerful. And also, as I have driven this motorcycle more than 100 kilometers, I can give you an estimate on the mileage, and it is somewhere near 25 kilometers. It's not more than that. I heard from the Royal Enfield people that it's going to be 30 to 35, but I don't know, maybe if you are not revving your motorcycle, maybe if you are just driving it in optimal speeds or like that, maybe 30 kilometers per liter. But from my driving style, it's only 20 or 25, not anything more than that. So I think it's giving a very low mileage. I don't think it's giving a really good mileage. But again, yeah, if you want an ADV in this price range, then I think this is the only vehicle you have. You don't have any competition in this space, and I mean, like, you can't go wrong. You have to get this motorcycle if you want something in this price range, like 2,40,000 or something below 2,50,000. I think this is the only ADV vehicle which is available in India, and you can only get that. So no competition, and a decently performing motorcycle which ticks almost every box. That's the BS6 Himalayan. So you can definitely buy it if you are looking for one. And again, don't be surprised about the typical Royal Enfield characteristics. That's Royal Enfield. Yeah, so that's it for the video, guys. Thanks for watching. It's raining a lot. Do like this video. If you like it, do share it with your friends. And if you haven't subscribed yet, guys, come on, subscribe at least now. Okay, so till next week, stay safe and ride safe. Bye bye.